In the age of universal awakening, every person becomes an awakener once they reach adulthood. My name is Lin Feng, and to the rest of the world, I'm just a lowest tier awakener. Most people see a guy holding a small plant and assume I'm harmless. I actually prefer it that way. All I really want is to be a farmer and live a peaceful life. Unfortunately, there are always people and monsters who feel the need to disturb my quiet. They don't realize that when the most humble profession touches the most forbidden power, things get dangerous. While I look like a regular student with a backpack, I'm actually sowing seeds in the autumn and waiting for death's bloom. Regardless of what the world thinks of a low-tier farmer, my field and my undead until the harvest is complete. Our world, it started with the Age of Universal Awakening. It's the annual profession awakening ceremony in Faiquan City, and, well, the place is packed with young people, all hoping to awaken a strong profession. Lin Feng, he just watches them pray for rare classes, and, honestly, he thinks it's kind of funny how hard they're daydreaming. To him, this eager crowd, it just means good business. The testing starts. After a guy named Gay Fei gets an S-rank profession, Lin Feng, he approaches him. He offers him a special tomato for 5 gold coins, claiming it increases magic power by 5% for 5 minutes. He also pitches other buff-giving vegetables, like sweet potatoes that keep you full all day, and beans that boost attack by 10%. When people suspect it's a scam, Lin Feng, he just offers the first one for free. Jay Fei takes a bite and immediately he feels his magic power increase. Someone recognizes the tomato as a premium spirit plant, usually reserved for SR ranks. The crowd goes wild and buys out Lin Feng's stock. Lin Feng, he just smiles as the money rolls in. Even though he only awakened the lowest N-rank farmer profession, something strange happened when he maxed out his level. Now, every fruit and vegetable he grows, it provides actual beneficial buffs. He takes his earnings to a shop and spends it all on premium fertilizer. Another guy recognizes him and notes, "It's a shame someone with your high talent ended up as just a farmer." Lin Feng's mother is a herbalist, and his late father, no one. He was a powerful archdruid. Despite the odds of getting a basic farming class, Lin Feng, he's perfectly happy with his peaceful life. You know, all he wants is to manage the family farm, keep his mother from worrying about him going to the battlefield like his father did. Suddenly, a drop of water falls. It starts raining on a clear day. The ground shakes and buildings begin to crumble. People panic, wondering if demons have invaded. A dark rift tears open in the sky, and a massive demon steps through. Warning messages appear, confirming the abyssal demon race has broken the barrier. The high-level demon immediately targets Lin Feng, grabbing him by the collar and lifting him into the air. Lin Feng struggles, realizing he can't get away. Deciding he won't go down without a fight, he summons his farming tool, a simple hoe. He glares at the demon, telling it that it's asking for it, and swings the hoe down hard right at its head. The demon uses an array to blast a massive beam of light, pushing Lin Feng back with dark tentacles. Instead of just killing him, the demon decides to possess his body to escape. It lifts Lin Feng into the air, mocking his low-rank profession, but admitting his body makes a decent vessel. Lin Feng struggles, telling the demon he's trained his whole life and won't go down easy, but the power gap is too huge. Realizing he can't win, Lin Feng decides they are both going down together. He grabs a blade and stabs himself straight in the chest, refusing to hand his body over to a monster. As he fades, he just hopes his dad won't scold him too much in the afterlife. Suddenly, a blinding golden light erupts from Lin Feng's chest. The light shoots out and wraps around the demon. The demon panics, screaming that this is impossible. Right before the light completely crushes it, a system message pops up. It congratulates Lin Feng for acquiring a new talent, the inherited profession, necromancer. Lin Feng opens his eyes, shocked to find he's still alive. His wound is gone, and he has full control of his body. The possession failed completely. He pulls up his status screen and sees a massive change. His profession is now a level 1 spirit farm master, but it's marked as mutated and unique. His base stats have skyrocketed, boasting 300 points in strength, constitution, and luck. Even his basic farming skills have fused with his new necromancer powers. His normal land clearing and harvesting abilities now come with passives like undead affinity and soul extraction, plus the ability to summon the undead. He stares at the screen, completely stunned by his new profession. Lin Feng points out that the recruitment notice clearly states all professionals are allowed to take the test. He pulls out his phone and pretends to call the supervision bureau to report the instructor for blocking his exam. Instructor Lee quickly snatches the phone away. Furious, he gets right in Lin Feng's face and threatens to make him regret it, still refusing to believe a level 1 farmer can actually pass. The other applicants, they start whispering amongst themselves, you know? They think Lee's going too far just because Lin Feng's a farmer. Someone even mentions that Instructor Lee recently failed to get a promotion, which is why he's stuck working the admissions desk and taking his anger out on students. Hearing the whispers, Lee, he just snaps and yells at the crowd, telling anyone who doesn't want a test to get lost. Forced to let him participate, Instructor Lee leads Lin Feng and the rest of the applicants out to an open field. Waiting for him in the grass is the exam, a massive structure made of thick, tangled wooden roots. Instructor Lee and his assistant, they scream in shock as they're buried under the massive pile of rabbit carcasses. Lin Feng, he just smiles casually and asks if they want to count the 500 horned rabbit horns he just dropped. Instructor Lee struggles out of the pile and immediately accuses Lin Feng of cheating. Before he can do anything, the teaching director steps in. He scolds Lee for bullying a student and complains that if he hadn't shown up, his test rabbits would have been completely wiped out by Lin Feng. The director turns to Lin Feng and tells him he passed the preliminary test. Lin Feng thanks him for being fair, but as they stand next to each other, the director looks at him closely and mentions that Lin Feng gives off a familiar feeling. Hearing this, Lin Feng starts to sweat, wondering if his secret profession has already been exposed. The director asks Lin Feng about his connection to Lin Xie. Realizing his secret profession is still safe, Lin Feng, he sighs in relief and says the man is his father. The director happily reveals he's an old friend of his dad's and offers to help him out around the school. At the same time, in the academy's investigation room, a team discusses the disappearance of Ding Yue and the demon He Xiao. An investigator suspects someone stole the demon's inherited necromancer talent. The higher-ups have issued a strict kill order for anyone caught using necromancer skills. Back with the students, an instructor announces their next test. They have 3 hours to clear a level 5 special dungeon, the Horned Beast Lair. The students panic since most of them are underleveled, and they quickly start forming teams. A level 7 mage girl asks to team up with Lin Feng. He turns her down, knowing he can't risk anyone seeing his undead summons. He registers to take the test by himself. The receptionist warns him it's tough, but assumes he wants the special solo clear reward, a black bear gallbladder. Outside the dungeon, the guards are surprised he doesn't have a team. Lin Feng reminds them the rules allow solo entry, so they let him through. Inside, a couple of level 3 and level 4 lizard monsters charge at him. Since he's already level 6, he knows they aren't a threat. But just a moment later, a huge wave of monsters rushes toward him, making him realize the dungeon guide wasn't kidding about the sheer number of enemies inside. The system finishes calculating the dungeon rewards. Because it detects both his farmer and necromancer professions, it gives him 2 separate reward chests. Lin Feng realizes that having dual professions means he gets double the loot from every dungeon, giving him a huge advantage to exploit. He walks out of the dungeon portal completely unharmed. The guards and other students are shocked to see him back. Since his clothes don't have a speck of dirt on them, they refuse to believe he actually fought any magical beasts. They assume he just went inside for appearances and hid near the entrance the whole time. Ignoring their whispers, Lin Feng walks straight up to the instructor and hands in his mission. She looks down at his paper, completely stunned to see a passing mark. She can hardly believe a farmer actually cleared a level 5 dungeon and did it entirely solo. Lin Feng just smiles. The instructor warns the boy that clearing a dungeon on his own was way too risky. She reminds him that a new student dying right after starting school would be a huge problem. He thanks her for the advice. She tells him to rest up before the final interview in the academy's main hall, hoping this will teach him not to be reckless. As he walks through the woods, he realizes someone is following him. 3 guys are trailing behind with a sack, planning to jump him. They figure that even if he's tough enough to solo the dungeon, he's still under level 10 and must be exhausted. They plan to overwhelm them with numbers to steal his magic bear gallbladder, an item that boosts stamina by 10 points. They yell at him to stop, calling him a farmer. When he turns around, they demand he hand over the gallbladder and the skill scroll he got from the dungeon. They claimed he just got lucky and threaten to show him the power of a battle class if he refuses. He asks why they are targeting him when there are plenty of other candidates. The leader tells him that solo clear rare items are wasted on a farmer class. He pulls out the bear gallbladder, confused as to why they care so much about a 10-point stamina boost. Every summer he grows watermelons that give the exact same stamina buff, and he doesn't even need to clear a dungeon to get them. He holds the item out, asking if this is what they want. Just as one of the thugs reaches for it, a sudden explosion of fire blasts them back. A pink-haired girl with a staff steps in to protect him. She tells the thugs to back off and stop bullying a farmer. The thugs ignore her warning and charge at her. They figure they can easily overpower her since they have the numbers. She fights back with her fire magic and asks the boy if he wants to join forces. Instead of helping, he just runs straight past her. As he escapes, he shoves the bear gallbladder into her hand, thanks her for being a kind soul, and tells her to keep it as a gift. Left holding the item, she realizes the thugs are now going to target her to get it. She yells at him in disbelief as he runs away. Safely back in his private lounge, the boy examines the skill scroll from the dungeon. He injects his magic into it and a system message appears. He learned a new skill called Special Cultivation. The skill allows him to use magic power and special materials to strengthen his undead summons, raising their levels or letting them learn new skills. He realizes he had to use magic from both of his professions at once to activate it. He summons his undead creatures to test the new skill out. With a surge of magic, Hai Xiao and Yue Ye jump from level 6 to 8. The magic horn bear reaches level 9, and his other summons level up as well. He is satisfied with the results. The only downside is that he now needs to find new farmland so he doesn't ruin his own fields testing out new crops. Leaving his room, he bumps into the pink-haired girl. She tries to hand back the magic bear gallbladder, insisting it's way too valuable to just give away. He refuses, muttering that he doesn't understand why people treat such a lousy material like treasure. She stands there completely stunned by his casual attitude. Later, he heads deep into the woods to test out his new skill on some crops. He channels his magic into the ground and a massive monstrous plant bursts from the dirt. He realizes it's completely poisonous but is still amused that his crops can now literally walk by themselves. Meanwhile, another guy is moving through the trees, following a spirit detector that's picking up strong necromancer energy nearby. He jumps down and intercepts the boy. Seeing his clothes, the guy immediately labels him a farmer and grabs his shoulder. He demands to know if the farmer has seen anyone strange in the area. The boy casually says yes. When the guy asks where, the boy points right at his face. Furious at being mocked, the guy loses his temper. He brags about being an elite at the Sunwheel Academy and the nephew of the Iron Lion Duke. Enraged that a lowly farmer would dare disrespect him, he ignites his fist and charges in for the kill. Deep in the forest, a beast man attacks Lin Feng, calling him a lowly farmer. Lin Feng effortlessly blocks the strike with his arms crossed. He tells the beast man that the farmer he looks down on can beat him with one hand. When the beast man throws an energy blast, Lin Feng reveals his trick. He took aconite from his field and ground it into a powder. After being exposed to his undead magic, it gained a strong paralytic effect. The beast man accidentally breathes the powder in and instantly loses his strength, growing dizzy. Lin Feng casually picks his nose and tells him this is the power farmers have, before delivering a swift kick to his face. He leaves the so-called elite tied to a tree in his underwear to cool off and learn his lesson. Just then, an announcement calls all candidates to the auditorium for instructor interviews. Lin Feng realizes he needs to hurry. Outside the academy, students whisper as he walks by. Some know he solo cleared a level 5 dungeon, while others spread rumors that he just runs away and leeches off women. A girl hands him a bag of items, but he tells her to keep them since they are useless to him. As he eats a snack that triggers system messages, granting him temporary stamina boosts, he wonders why people treat those things like rare treasures. Inside the auditorium, the interviews are a mutual selection process between students and instructors. A level 6 Earth-type warrior named Shi Yan is called up first. He summons a full mechanical battle llama. A level 44 Earth-type berserker instructor is impressed and immediately takes him as a student. Next, Lin Feng is called to the floor. He steps up, revealing himself as a level 8 spirit farm master. The instructors are surprised by his high level for his age, but remain skeptical because his class is just a farmer. They note that the academy trains frontline fighters, not cannon fodder. However, recognizing his good scores in the preliminary tests, the head instructor suggests a combat assessment. They ask if he's willing to prove himself. Lin Feng knows his raw combat strength isn't that high, and he wants to pass without exposing his true necromancer abilities. He agrees to the test. The rule is simple. He just has to survive for 5 minutes against an instructor's attacks to prove his Hamid talent. The instructor powers up, releasing an aura so heavy that the watching students can barely breathe. Lin Feng stands his ground, completely fine. The instructor respects his perseverance and tells him to attack with everything he has. Lin Feng feels the intense pressure of a level 44 but knows he can endure it. To hide his true power, Lin Feng uses nature magic to wrap around his undead summons, hiding their undead aura. He calls forth his servant, which appears as a giant, glowing green cabbage bear. The disguise works perfectly. The instructor is fooled, assuming Lin Feng just has a rare mutated profession with dense nature magic. Intrigued by the summon, the instructor draws his jagged sword and challenges Lin Feng to bring it on. The instructor jumps into the air and brings his jagged sword down on Lin Feng's cabbage bear. The summon takes the heavy hits head-on without backing down. The head instructor watching nearby is impressed by its loyalty, noting a normal summon would have disappeared from that much damage. He even teases the combat instructor for getting winded. Lin Feng just watches casually. Since his summon is actually undead disguised by nature magic, it doesn't feel pain, and fixing surface damage barely cost any magic. Wanting to push Lin Feng further, the instructor uses a berserk skill called Bloodthirst. He lands a massive blow that completely shatters the bear. Looking smug, the instructor walks up to Lin Feng. Normal summoners pay a heavy price when their summons die, so he expects Lin Feng to be crying or upset. Instead, Lin Feng just stares at him, completely expressionless. Before the instructor can figure out why, Lin Feng instantly summons multiple green vines from the ground. The vines wrap tightly around the instructor, completely binding him. The instructor yells that he's playing dirty, but the head instructor steps in and calls off the fight. He tells Lin Feng he passed and is now officially a student at the Extraordinary Academy. However, since all the nature-type instructors are deployed at the front lines, he won't have a teacher for now. Lin Feng doesn't care about that and immediately asks about his cultivation resources. The head instructor promises him the standard academy resources and offers him one special request for doing so well in the exam. Lin Feng thinks for a second and just asks for a plot of land. The head instructor is dumbfounded that he didn't ask for a rare item or skill, but Lin Feng reminds him that he's a farmer and needs land to do his job. Giving in, the head instructor assigns him an abandoned spirit orb farm on the west side of the city. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, the principal is reviewing Lin Feng's file. Finding his spirit farm master profession interesting, suddenly a female instructor bursts in with an urgent report. She reveals that their investigator, who was tracking the beastman from earlier, was found brutally killed. A body is shown tied to a tree with a massive hole in its chest. Because of the lingering magic, they confirm it was the work of a necromancer. Since the body was found right outside the auditorium, they suspect a dangerous necromancer has infiltrated the academy. Lin Feng arrives at the Western Wasteland and uses his lease agreement to unlock the repulsion barrier. A system message confirms his one-year lease on the land. He thinks the academy is a bit stingy, but admits it makes sense since most students head to the front lines after a year anyway. Still, he's thrilled to have a massive plot of land all to himself. He summons his undead army and puts them straight to work. While he relaxes in a chair eating watermelon, his skeleton bear and other summons plow and water the fields at incredible speeds. He's impressed by how proactive they are, though he knows expecting them to have full consciousness is asking a bit much. Inside his greenhouse, Lin Feng checks on his special crops. System messages reveal the plants grant permanent and temporary stat boosts, like extra stamina, speed, HP, and attack power. He prefers this balanced nutrition approach over grinding through bitter training. He wishes he could mass-produce them to help everyone fight the demons, but he knows he has to plant normal crops outside to cover up the magical ones. The next day, while teaching his undead how to dig, he catches an undead lizard eating a potato. A system window pops up, showing the lizard's bone density and defense have temporarily increased. Realizing his crops work on undead summons too, Lin Feng spends the next few days feeding them different crops and recording the effects. One night, a blue-haired intruder sneaks into the farm. Seeing the new structures, he easily slices through the outer fence with a knife. He spots Lin Feng resting in a hammock and charges in, wondering if it's a trap. Mid-sprint, he steps on a weird round potato plant that instantly explodes. The intruder dodges the blast and cockily claims the defense is too weak. However, he lands directly in a massive patch of the exact same explosive potatoes. He curses right before the entire field detonates in a massive chain reaction. From the flames and smoke, a giant glowing green entity made of vines with a feminine form and glowing eyes emerges. The blue-haired intruder curses and slashes at the giant vine entity. During the clash, he realizes the monster actually has an undead aura mixed into it. He reveals his main mission in the city was to find a necromancer named Hai Xiao, who vanished after making a deal with his clan. Assuming this farm is Hai Xiao's secret hideout, the intruder decides it's best to retreat and report back. The next morning, Lin Feng is out doing his daily farm work when he finds his greenhouse completely destroyed. While he stares at the rubble, a massive flying dragon lands nearby. Two law enforcement officers step off and approach his barrier. The officer with glasses holds up a magic detector and explains they tracked a strong magic aura to this exact spot. He asks Lin Feng to drop the barrier so they can come inside and inspect the area. Lin Feng is confused, wondering how there could be a magic aura on land he just rented a few days ago. The second officer, a large man with wild hair, quickly loses his patience. He flares up his fiery aura, bringing up that their investigator Tuka was just killed by demons. He glares right at Lin Feng and bluntly accuses him of being a demon spy. Lin Feng breaks a sweat. Realizing this misunderstanding is escalating fast, the large officer demands Lin Feng's surrender. The officer with glasses tries to calm his partner down, but admits Lin Feng looks suspicious since demonic energy appeared right after their investigator died. Lin Feng realizes he needs to get rid of them quickly. He plays the victim card, acting like a pitiful, lowly farmer who just wanted a quiet place to work. The large officer doesn't buy it. He throws a heavy punch right into Lin Feng's chest to force a confession. Thanks to his stat-boosting crops, the strike doesn't hurt Lin Feng at all. Still, he fakes falling back and acting injured. Seeing this, the glasses officer immediately stops his partner. He points out the pure nature magic radiating off Lin Feng's body. Since demons absolutely hate nature magic, it proves Lin Feng isn't a demon spy. The officers apologize for the misunderstanding and leave. Watching from a distance, the principal and a female staff member observe the situation. She suspects Lin Feng is hiding a mutated profession, but agrees his pure nature energy clears him of any demon collusion. The principal simply notes that the real show is still ahead. A magic paper crane flies down to Lin Feng, delivering a mandatory order to attend the freshman ability test and ranking battles the next morning. Lin Feng sighs, wishing he could just farm in peace. The next day at the academy, students murmur in confusion about having another test right after interviews. A female instructor takes the stage and silences the crowd. She reveals that the frontline fortress is on the brink of collapse due to intensified demon attacks. Because of the crisis, the academy has been ordered to draft fresh students to support the front. She declares it a mandatory conscription and orders everyone to the training grounds for live combat testing. Walking into the arena, Lin Feng figures that with his farmer profession, the academy probably won't send him to the front lines anyway. He steps up for his match. His opponent is a girl who claims she heard he's good at dodging. She immediately unleashes a massive blast of flames at him, telling him to turn to ash. Lin Feng effortlessly leans out of the way. He tells her the attack is too slow and the magic isn't condensed enough, casually joking that her fire couldn't even roast the sweet potatoes in his field. Angered by his insult, the girl begins chanting to summon a much stronger flame spirit. Before the girl can finish her long casting time, Lin Feng closes the distance in a flash and delivers a swift punch to her stomach, knocking her out. He easily racks up a massive winning streak, beating opponent after opponent without breaking a sweat. After his matches, a black-haired woman approaches him. She tells him his talent qualifies him to be promoted to the Advanced Sunwheel Academy, where he could get legendary weapons and better instructors. Lin Feng turns her down, saying he doesn't need any of that. All he wants is a bigger piece of land to farm in peace and provide fields for everyone else to work on. Watching from a distance, the principal assumes the woman, who is a level 50 nature archmage, wants to take Lin Feng as her student. She quickly corrects him, completely serious. Because Lin Feng's nature magic is so incredibly pure, she actually wants to take him as her teacher. The principal is shocked, asking if the demons burned her brain. Meanwhile, Lin Feng's next match begins against Ailing, a pink-haired girl with a spear. She charges straight at him with her weapon drawn. Lin Feng just sighs, pointing out that everyone always attacks him head-on. He casually raises one hand, summoning thick green vines from the earth. The vines instantly wrap around Ailing mid-air, completely binding her and stopping her attack in its tracks. Lin Feng stands there completely unimpressed. He tells her that a straight-line attack is way too easy to read, and advises her to use her brain a little more next time. Lin Feng decides he's shown enough strength and plans to leave an opening to surrender, so he doesn't stand out too much. Before he can, the principal secretly warns him that if he keeps holding back, the academy will repossess his land and give it to someone else. Hearing this, Lin Feng instantly gets serious. He refuses to let them take his land. Ailing notices his aura completely change from passive to serious. She throws a massive fireball at him, but Lin Feng gathers dense nature magic into his hand and throws a serious punch right through the flames. His glowing fist stops inches from her face, and the sheer shockwave of the blast leaves her completely stunned by his tremendous power. Instantly dropping a serious act, Lin Feng smiles and thanks her for letting him win. The crowd is shocked that a farmer was hiding so much strength. Ailing admits her defeat, though Lin Feng humbly claims he just hits hard. While the principal laughs at the display, Lin Feng inwardly curses the old geezer for threatening his farm. After the match, the green-haired woman from earlier approaches him. She introduces herself as Vela and asks him to guide her cultivation. Lin Feng is confused as to why a battle class wants a farmer to teach her. Vela explains that his use of nature magic is masterful, and since she's been stuck at her current level, she hopes his path can inspire her. Lin Feng tries to brush her off, saying he only knows how to farm and she should wait for the actual instructors to return. Vela begs to just help with chores on the side so she can be near his natural aura. Lin Feng doesn't want anyone seeing his special crops, but the principal suddenly whispers from behind, urging him to agree for his sake. Left with no choice, Lin Feng accepts. Vela eagerly asks to head to the farm right away. At the western wasteland, Vela changes into working clothes and asks how she can help. Lin Feng tells her to just look around outside while he tends to the greenhouse, making sure to keep her away from his secret plants. Standing outside, Vela senses that the crops are nourished by pure nature magic and provide stat boosts. This makes her even more curious about him. An hour later, Lin Feng finds her inspecting the dirt. She's amazed and asks if he grew everything using completely ordinary soil without any magic crystal powder or elemental soil. Lin Feng confirms it, saying plain dirt is all he can afford and pointing out some malnourished plants. Realizing she can help, Vela tells him about a school policy where students can exchange dungeon core materials for rare academy warehouse items. This catches Lin Feng's attention. She explains that defeating the final boss of the level 10 Shadow Deeper dungeon drops a specific item he could use for exchange. Vela tells Lin Feng that he can trade the dungeon drop for a bottle of Earth's Pulse, though she warns him that the level 10 dungeon usually requires a full 5-man team. Hearing this, Lin Feng grabs a hoe and immediately sprints off, excited to get his hands on the fertilizer. When he arrives at the Shattered Deepwood dungeon entrance, the other students immediately start mocking him. Seeing a level 8 farmer holding a hoe apply for a solo entry makes them think he has a death wish. The instructor in charge tries to deny him, warning that his level is too low and going in alone is extremely risky. However, Vela secretly steps in from behind and signals the instructor to allow it. Following the rules, the instructor lets him pass but warns him to retreat if things get dangerous. The crowd laughs, assuming he's just cannon fodder who will die inside. Once inside the dungeon, Lin Feng wastes no time. He summons his powerful undead units and orders them to steamroll everything in their path. When a pack of shadow wolves attacks, they are effortlessly killed, and Lin Feng immediately resurrects them to join his growing army. He easily reaches the final boss, a level 12 fallen shadow kobold chieftain. Lin Feng finds the giant beast completely unimpressive and casually tells his summons to go straight in. They instantly overwhelm and destroy the boss. System messages pop up announcing he defeated the chieftain, leveled up to 9, and obtained the chieftain's fang. He tries to use his magic on the boss's corpse, but a system notification tells him his level is too low to convert a unit higher than himself into a summon. Not caring much since he got what he came for, he grabs the fang and heads back out. Outside the dungeon, Vela confirms with the instructor that the academy still has the soil fertilizer in stock for the exchange. Just then, Lin Feng steps out of the portal, and a massive system announcement flashes above the dungeon. It declares that Lin Feng has set a new solar clear record with an SSS rating and received a legendary special reward, a heroic soul shard. The crowd of students goes completely crazy. Knowing how incredibly rare and powerful a heroic soul shard is for boosting a profession's potential, They refuse to believe a lowly farmer could earn it fairly. They immediately start shouting, accusing him of cheating, exploiting bugs, and using banned items. The angry mob surrounds him, demanding the academy conduct a full investigation to confiscate his hard-earned rewards.